Alright there guys, and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're talking about the global pandemic that is the coronavirus. Of course I was going to talk about this at some point, as it's the only thing anyone talks about at the minute. So yeah, the coronavirus, it's huge. Like, there'll be a lot of people that still don't think it's that big of a deal, but this is a once in a generation kind of thing. Same thing as in how I guess World War One and Two weren't really once in a generation because they happened less than 50 years apart. But the coronavirus really is a once-in-a-generation type thing. No one thought it was going to get as big as it has, and it's gotten so big that everything has pretty much closed all over the world. Here in the UK, we have schools are completely closed. Yeah, schools and colleges are closed. Of course, I don't go to either anymore, so that doesn't affect me. Pretty much any stores that are not supermarkets, places that sell medicine, pretty much anywhere with essential goods, they stay open, but everywhere else has had to shut. And the deaths are worryingly increasing quite a lot from the coronavirus everywhere in the world, even here in the UK. Because this week, Italy, from Monday to Thursday, the deaths from the coronavirus in Italy were steadily decreasing. But on Friday, the deaths went like this, and then like that. Italy had its worst day affected by the coronavirus so far. After a week, after 4 days of the deaths slowly decreasing, it had its biggest spike yet, which obviously is a really, really bad thing. And we know that staying home and self-isolating is a massive part in stopping the spread of the coronavirus. If you don't go outside, you're not going to spread it to anybody. But there are people who can't work from home, and they're gonna have to still go out. And the people that are most affected by the coronavirus are either elderly people, so like 60 to 70 year old people, so they definitely need to avoid going out at any cost if they can, and people with underlying health conditions, so that could be heart problems, high blood pressure, asthma. I'm not sure, is low blood pressure, I don't think I have low blood pressure, but sometimes when I've done blood tests I do have low blood pressure, so is that an underlying health condition? Low blood pressure? Because if so, there's a very tiny small chance that even I could be at risk, but I'm pretty sure I'm not at risk. But that would be the only thing that could possibly put me at risk, having low blood pressure. But even though this is a global pandemic, there are still some absolute dumbasses out there that still feel the need to A, go outside and ignore what the government has told them, and B, stockpile. Now, what is stockpiling? Stockpiling is buying way more of something than you actually need. toilet roll in the UK and the US, toilet roll is the number one thing that has been stockpiled. As there's so many people buying about 16 to 20 to possibly even 24 rolls of toilet roll. You do not need that many. For God's sake. So many supermarkets are completely running out of toilet roll. It's the number one thing they're running out of. And some people are going to say that, mostly elderly people, are going to say, this never happened during World War II, back in 1939 and the first half of the 1940s. And yes, stockpiling was not a thing in World War II, but that is due to the fact that stockpiling was physically not possible in World War II because there was not enough food or supplies in World War II to stockpile in the first place. That's why everything was rationed, because there wasn't enough to stockpile. That is why. So yeah, it's not quite the same. I guess right now we are kind of in a world war as well, but instead of it being countries fighting each other like in the first two, in World War I and II, this is more of the world fighting against the coronavirus. The world is joining together to fight off something else. So yeah, we all have the same enemy. And what we'll say, everyone thinks this seemed to originate from China, because Chinese people, for some strange reason, think eating animals that aren't normally eaten anywhere else in the world, such as dogs and cats. Only in China do they eat cats and dogs. Nowhere else in the world. We have them as pets everywhere else in the world. But Chinese people also seem to eat bats. Are bats even edible? I don't know how a bat could be edible. Not only that, they even eat some animals that are alive. Like animals that aren't even dead. It's like, if you're gonna eat an animal, don't at least do it while it's still alive. Although one big problem you could see with this is the mukbangs. If you guys don't know what a mukbang is, it's basically where it's basically videos on YouTube where people just eat a lot of food for a whole video. That's pretty much what it is. I don't understand how it's entertaining, but it gets views, and there are a lot of Asian YouTubers that do mukbangs of very strange things, such as an octopus, a crab, a snake. But the weirdest thing is, all of these animals are still alive during these videos. It's like they haven't even been killed first. They're still alive. Well, why would you do that? Of course, one of the most worrying things about the coronavirus is the current Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, has the coronavirus, that's really worrying if you think about it. And hopefully that is the wake-up call that these stockpiling pricks that refuse to self-isolate because they think they're hard and better than everyone else. Hopefully the fact that the Prime Minister has the coronavirus is the wake-up call to actually listen to what the government are telling you. To actually self-isolate. Not leave the house unless you have to. Of course, in terms of me, the coronavirus hasn't actually affected me at all, as I've been stuck at home for the last 9 months. Because no matter no matter where I look or what I apply for, I can't find a job. So I've been stuck at home for the last 9 damn months. So this hasn't made any real difference to my life at all, since I rarely leave the house anyway. And it hasn't really affected my friends' lives that much either. I mean, Shay and Connor are not going into college due to it closing. And neither of those two really leave the house for any other reason anyway. Dean is in the same situation as me, looking for a job and really struggling with it. And Rowan basically lives where he works. And due to that closing, he isn't really working either at the minute, due to pretty much everywhere closing. I mean, we have pubs closed, we have restaurants closed, schools, so many things have closed. Again, if it's not an essential good, then the store selling it is closed. And this is having a huge effect on so many people, whether it's financially or mentally. Yeah, because there'll be a lot of people that go out every single day, and now they're being told to do the complete opposite. Pretty much never go out unless you absolutely have to. And I could see how that could affect some people mentally. They'd be going a tad bit insane, but because I've been stuck at home for the last 9 months, I haven't really. I'm so used to it that it hasn't actually affected me in any way. But yeah, another pretty important person that's got the coronavirus in the UK is the Prince of Wales, who is 71 years old, high risk category with elderly. So he has to self-isolate as well. Now, even sporting events around the world are being cancelled or postponed due to the coronavirus. We have the Tokyo 2020 Olympics postponed. They are not happening this year. As of now, the latest they can happen is the summer of 2021. So next summer. Maybe they'll happen earlier in 2021, who knows, but they're not happening this year. And this is really the first ever postponement of the Olympics since World War II. But not only that, this is going to be the first time ever in Olympic history that the Olympics might be held on an odd-numbered year, which would be pretty strange, because how would that work? Because we'd have the 2021 Tokyo Olympics in the summer at the latest, but then we'd have the next Winter Olympics in like January or February of 2022. So that's two full Olympics, the summer one and the winter one, held less than a year apart, which has never happened before. So I'm not sure how that would go. In terms of football, we've had Euro 2020 cancelled for this year, and we will now have Euro 2021. But then we've got we'd have Euro 2021 in the summer of 2021, so June to July of 2021. But the World Cup in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar is happening in their winter, our winter time, which is in the middle of of everyone's season. So not only is that strange already, but that'd be the Euro 2021 and Qatar 2022 World Cup happening less than a year apart again, when it's always been a 2-year gap between the Euros and the World Cup, and the Euros themselves are always 4 years apart from each other, and the World Cups are always 4 years apart, with the Euros or the World Cup, depending on which event is currently happening in between. We've had the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1. We've had all those leagues completely postponed. We've had the National League, which is the 5th tier of English football, completely cancelled, with the specific term being null and void, meaning that's it, season over. We're not going any further. So if the Premier League does not resume, if they end up declaring this Premier League season null and void, then Liverpool will not win the Premier League again. Which is quite funny, because it's been 30 years since Liverpool last won the Premier League. Last won any league title of any sort, and they're breaking all the records. They've broken so many records this season. They'd probably break the most points ever in a Premier League season, most wins, most goals scored, most points won by. They'd probably break all of those records on their way to the Premier League title. But if the season is declared null and void, Liverpool do not win the title, which sucks for them. But if the season is null and void, then it also sucks for Man United, because United are currently 5th in the league, which would put them back in the Europa League, which is where they already are now. And they have a very, very high chance of overtaking Chelsea in the last 9 games of the season to finish in the top 4 and make it into the Champions League. Speaking of that, the Champions League and Europa League, they've been cancelled for now, with Manchester United looking incredibly high favourites to win the Europa League. And I think they definitely would win it if it was still happening. Well, we'd have had the round of 16 by now, and we'd be ready for the quarter-finals of both the Champions League and Europa League. But nope, neither of those two are going ahead at the minute. We've had rugby cancelled, golf cancelled, cricket cancelled. Pretty much all sporting events have been cancelled for now. Cancelled or postponed. And now on to something you guys are definitely more familiar with. The coronavirus has also affected conventions. MCM Birmingham, which was meant to happen 1 week ago yesterday and today, last Saturday and Sunday, that's when MCM Birmingham was supposed to happen. But due to the coronavirus, it has been postponed until the end of June. And MCM London, which was happening in the last few days of May this year, has also been postponed. Meaning the latest MCM convention that there is Comic-Con that there is, which hasn't officially been postponed yet, is MCM Manchester, which would be happening on the 1st and 2nd of August this year. You guys know MCM Manchester is the convention I have been to the past 2 years in 2018 and 2019. And I want to go again this year, but the way the coronavirus is cancelling everything, would MCM Manchester even be able to happen? Because how would you be able to postpone it without it getting in the way of MCM London that happens in October of every year? How would they be able to fit around? Will MCM Manchester just be completely cancelled for 2020? Which if that did happen, I'd be pretty gutted, because I've loved both times I went to that convention. Hell, my second most viewed video on my channel is the Comic-Con vlog I made last year. So you guys clearly enjoy it when I go to the conventions and take photos for Instagram and make my annual vlog. So you guys clearly enjoy my convention content when I get the chance to make it. But with the coronavirus exceedingly still spreading, who knows if MCM Manchester will go ahead this year as planned in August, possibly be postponed to October, November time, maybe even December, or just completely cancelled for 2020. Who knows? But yeah, the UK, even cosplay and convention fans are being affected by it. But on Thursday night, so many people in this country stood outside their houses and gave a big clap to the NHS for all the hard work that they have done since the coronavirus pandemic started in this country. Originally, the government wanted 250,000 NHS volunteers additional to help to help with all the patients that all the people being affected by the coronavirus. There was 600,000 actual people that applied to volunteer. That is, not only is that double what the NHS wanted, what the government wanted for the NHS. Not only is that double, it's double plus another 100,000. So, to all those people, huge props to you. If any of you guys watching this and you're one of those 600k volunteers, massive credit to you. You're making a massive help to this country. You're massively helping us fight the coronavirus by volunteering. And, of course, so many people, whether they were posting on Instagram or Twitter about it, say, clap for the NHS and all that. That I actually didn't understand what was happening at the time, because I heard fireworks, but I was thinking, why are there fireworks in March? That was one. Giving huge credit to it was for the NHS, and a massive credit to the NHS for their continued relentless hard work on trying to keep as many people alive as they possibly can. So I have now clapped for the NHS. They just need to keep doing what they're doing, and the coronavirus will hopefully start affecting less and less people, and then hopefully start affecting absolutely nobody. And again, plane flights, they've all been cancelled until further notice as well. So anybody who was planning to go on holiday this year has to really rethink when they want to go on holiday, because right now no one is going on holiday anywhere. So that should just about do it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, follow me on all my social medias. Again, a very big thank you to the NHS for massively helping out, for making a massive difference against the coronavirus. Just keep doing what you're doing. Everyone here in the UK completely supports this, and this needs to keep going so we can beat the coronavirus. Let's all hope Boris Johnson does recover from the coronavirus, as he's been trying his damned hardest to try and keep everybody else safe, and unfortunately he's ended up contracting the very disease he's trying to save all of us from. So Boris deserves huge credit as well. The reason we didn't go into lockdown straight away, I think, is because if we went into lockdown straight away, then not many people here would catch it, meaning we wouldn't be able to have it spread as much, and then have people get it and then recover from it, and then it's gone, so they can't get it anymore. But what if somebody from came in from a flight from a country that never went on lockdown, comes here to the UK, starts passing it on to people, and then people any of the people that didn't get the coronavirus then do start getting it, and before you know it, we're on lockdown for a second time. That is what I believe why Boris decided not to put us in lockdown straight away. There was a reason why he did it in a gradual sense. And any of you that are slagging off Boris, this isn't about politics right now. Whether you vote Conservative, Labour, Liberal, whatever, this isn't about politics. This is about saving lives. So get rid of your anti-Boris agendas right now. Because any of you that are slagging off Boris Johnson when he's trying to keep you safe, you're just twats. It's as simple as that. And anyone who's stockpiling, you're all selfish twats as well. So, be a good person. Don't stockpile. Stay indoors. Stay isolated. Don't meet anyone, whether it's friends or family, unless you live with them, of course. Only buy what you need. Stay safe, everyone. And until next time, catch you later.